Hey everybody, this video is for Learning Target 1.3. I can simplify expressions given one variable. And basically what this means is that we are going to do order of operations, but instead of just having numbers, we are going to have numbers and variables. And I don't know why my handwriting is so ugly today, but we'll see if I can fix that up for you. So the first thing we need to know is something called like terms. And what are like terms? Like terms have the exact same variable configuration. So that means that they either have no variable or the variable that they do have is the same. So here are some examples of like terms. Okay. The first three numbers that you see here, -3, 1/2, and 19.2, they have no variables at all. These are called constants. And all constants, whether they're decimals or fractions or negative numbers or whole numbers, all constants are like terms with each other. On the second row here, you can see each one of these terms has an x. 4x, -3/5 x. Since these x's are the same, these are like terms. And on the third row, you can see that these have y's. -4.1y, 79y. So since they both have y's, these are like terms. And why do we care about like terms? Like terms are important because we can add and subtract them just like we can add and subtract negative numbers. All numbers, that is. So for example, if I say 4 plus 5, I know I can add that and make 9. If I say 4x plus 5x, I can add those and make 9x. Like terms can be added and subtracted. Okay. These numbers are not like terms. And if you look at the variables, you'll see why. -3 is a constant. There's no variable, but the 4 has an x. These are not like terms. This 9 has an x, but this 7 has an x squared. These are not like terms. They either both need to be x's, or they both need to be x squared, or they both need to be x cubed, or whatever the exponent is. The 4 here has an x, but the 9 has a y. They are not the same. These are not like terms, which means you cannot add or subtract. Okay? You cannot add or subtract these pairs. All right? Like terms are important to understand. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do order of operations, and you see, if you take a look at this problem, that there are a couple of variables, and you guys are used to working a little bit with variables. We're going to follow the same order as we followed before with just straight up numbers. You see the first thing we have here is parentheses, so we have to do that first. So I'm going to keep all this. I'm not going to panic about that fraction. 7 plus 1 is 8. All right, now there's no exponent, but we have to multiply and divide from left to right, which means that this, remember, a fraction is division. This comes first. When you have a 4x divided by 2, you just divide the coefficient, the 4 and the 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and you bring down the x. So in other words, if you had 4 x's and you divided that in half, you would have 2 x's. And then we're going to keep this part. I see multiplication right here. That's 24. And now I have to add and subtract from left to right. But here's the thing. I cannot subtract 2x minus 24 because they are not like terms. I can't take an x and subtract a constant. But what I can do is combine my x's together. This is combining like terms. And if I see 2x plus 6x, that makes 8x. And then the minus 24, I can just tack on the end. This is the final answer. I cannot go any further than this because, again, this has an x and this doesn't. These are not like terms. So 8x minus 24 is as far as I can go. Let's take a look at another one. If I follow the order of PEMDAS, I have parentheses right here. 3 minus 1 is 2. And then no exponent, but I do have multiplication right here. This is an x, not a times button. That's a variable. So this is really negative 4x times 2. Well, negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. So negative 4x times 2 is negative 8x. Bring down the rest. Now I only have addition and subtraction left, so I need to look for my like terms. I have two x's, negative 8x and positive 10x. So negative 8 plus 10 is 2. That would be 2x minus 7. Since this is an x and this is not, I am done. I cannot subtract these because they are not like terms. Here comes the next one. This time our variable is y, but we're going to use the same procedure. Nothing different here. First thing I see is parentheses. I'm going to keep the 6y, keep the minus 3y, keep the 2, and then I'm going to keep the parentheses because the 2 right next to it means times, so I have to show that multiplication. This is y plus 3y. Hopefully you guys remember that if a variable has no number in front, you can assume that to be 1. So that really means 1y plus 3y is 4y. Bring down the rest. There's no exponent, but we need to multiply, and we have multiplication right here, 2 times 4y. That is 8y. No division. We do have addition and subtraction, so since I'm at the end with all addition and subtraction, I notice that I have 3 variable terms. Notice that when I circle these, I'm putting the sign inside the circle with the number. That tells me whether to add or subtract, so that's really important. 6 minus 3 would be 3y. 3y plus 8y would be 11y. And since the first term has a y and the second term doesn't, this is the end. 11y minus 7. We'll try another one. Now, this one has a fraction, and in this case, our fraction is actually a grouping symbol. So you know what? We shouldn't use PEMDAS here. We should use GEMDAS. A fraction bar is a grouping symbol if there's math in it. And you can see that the numerator has math, 3 minus 7. So we have to do that first before we can do this division. So 3 minus 7 is negative 4. There's the g. There's no exponent. We do have multiplication and division. We've got multiplying right here where the dot is, but we have division right here. So we have to go left to right. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. Then we can multiply. Now at the end with addition and subtraction, I'm looking for like terms. I only have one variable, but I do have 2 constants. So I can combine, I can do negative 2 plus 8, and negative 2 plus 8 is 6. And right here, the 6 is a constant, the negative 3 has a variable, they are not like terms, and they cannot be subtracted. So that is the end of the problem. Now the next one you notice has 2 different variables. It has x's and y's. So I can combine my x's together. 6x minus 2x is 4x. Now I know this is kind of weird because I'm sort of jumping over the y's, but remember I can only combine like terms. So right now I'm going to ignore the y's and just look at the x's because I only have addition and subtraction. If there was parentheses and multiplying and things like that, we would do that first. But when there only is addition and subtraction, it's like you're at the end of the problem and you're just simplifying. I have 2y plus 4y, that makes 6y. And positive 2 plus 4 is a positive 6, so I would add a plus sign. These two things cannot be added. One's an x and one's a y. The variables are not the same. So this is the end. This is as far as you can go. take a look at this guy. We do have grouping symbol, and it's right here. 3 minus 5 is negative 2. There's no exponent. There is multiplication and division both. Here's the multiplication, and here's the division. So we're going to go left to right. Negative 2 times 2x is negative 4x. Now I'm going to divide. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Now when I have addition and subtraction left, I'm going to look to combine my like terms. There's only one variable, so I'm just going to keep it. But there are two constants. 6 minus 3. 6 minus 3 is 3, and it's a positive 3, so I'm going to put plus 3. Here I have a variable, here I have a constant, I'm done. Got two more problems for you. In this case, I have two grouping symbols. The fraction bar is a grouping symbol because there's math in it. The parentheses is a grouping symbol because it's parentheses. So I'm going to start with this one. When you have a fraction with math in it, just do both of the math. Do the math in the numerator and do the math in the denominator. So 6 plus 2 is 8, and 3 plus 1 is 4. Now I have this grouping symbol. 2x plus 4x is 6x. There are no exponents. I do have multiplication and division. I've got multiplication right here, 3 times 6x. I have division right here, 8 divided by 4. So if we go from left to right, 8 divided by 4 is first. Then I'm going to multiply. And then I'm going to look, can I add or subtract these? Well, 2 is a constant, 18x is a variable. They cannot be added or subtracted, so there's your answer. Last example, we've got, let me put it over here. We've got two sets of parentheses, so I'm just going to go from left to right. 3 plus 2 is 5. 3x plus, remember this means 1x, is 4x. All right, there are no exponents. We do have multiplication right here. 2 times 5 is 10. And now at the end with add and subtract, look at the things that are alike. Where are your like terms? There's only one variable, so we're just going to keep it. But I do have two constants. And what is 10 plus 7? 17. Now you could also reverse like this. If you put the 4x in the front, that minus sign goes with it. That makes it a negative 4x. This 17 is positive because the negative goes to the 4, not to the 17. So if you switch it around, you could do it like this. Either way, I'll take. And there you go. All right. Go back and watch this video again if you feel at all confused, because we are going to be doing some practice problems on this the next time that I see you. Bye.